Okay, thank you. I see roll call. We have three members on remote, Mr. Neely, Mr. Heberly, and Mr. Knacksack. Uh, Four members present, Mr. Porter, Ms. McFarland, Mr. Freitas, and myself. Meeting please come to order. Are there any public comments on closed session items?
Yes, we have one, Michelle Orgon.
You're on, Michelle.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. Love technology. I'm currently listening to Congressman Harder and Jamie Musolimus. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk. Tonight you are looking at an interview and a possible appointment. I would just ask again that Leah and other bargaining units should be considered a voice that is valued and part of the team. And we have lost our seat at the table. The interviews are being conducted. We have not been part of that process since March. You've taken the voices away from us and other groups. It's shameful that we have to be dismissed, and that dismissiveness and not being able to find a different way to be included shows that we have a long way to work. There is no consideration then for hearing from your other bargaining units on any recommendations made now or in the past few months. This is a very narrow focus. We continue to ask to be part and included in that process. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Are there any comments from the public?
No, there's not.
No more comments from the public, then we adjourn to closed session.
Is anybody on?
Just checking in, Gary. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, thank you.
Gary, can you hear me okay?
I can. Loud and clear,
Okay. So everybody has left closed session.
I guess. Should be,
I had
but
such a hard, I couldn't hardly hear anybody.
yeah. I know.
I mean, I can hear you fine right now, but
Yeah.
when people start talking at the same,
I
when
couldn't hear
people
people
start talking at the same time,
in the room. I couldn't hear people very well.
I can't hear him either.
all right, I'm gonna mute it now.
Okay. Mute, mute, mute.
Gary, you're in? You're in? Gary?
I'm here.
Okay, George?
I'm here.
Okay, Ron, Everly? Oh,
I know he's here.
Ron Heberly in? So
Yes, Joe, I'm in.
oh, thank you, Ron. Thank you. Okay, good. We're all accountable.
Yes.
You ready? Roll 'em.
Okay, we have a Kimberly Freeberg.
One,
Sorry,
one moment. Are we on? The meeting will please come to order. Roll call. We have 3 on remote. Mr. Neely, Mr. Knapsack, Mr. Heberly. 4 present, Mr. Porter, Ms. McFarland, Mr. Freitas, Mr. Nava. Reconvene from closed session. Would you please rise for the pledge? Salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Report actions from closed session. Miss Susan McFarland motion, Mr. Courtney Porter second, and the board approved the appointment of Paul Warren as Administrative Director of Student Services, effective date to be announced by the following vote of 7-0. Welcome to the meeting, and I have a statement to make. The board has unanimously given additional direction to the superintendent to develop a plan that allows teachers options regarding location to deliver distance learning, including their homes, with accountability measures in place. Direction to teachers will be provided by July 24th. All right, first item on the agenda is ratification of the Memorandum of Understanding with Lodi Education Association. Mr. McKelton. Yes. Okay. Mr. Freitas. Mr. Freitas has moved to approve. Second by Mr. Porter. A roll call vote, please. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Yeah, okay. Board comments? Board questions? All right, we'll go to public comments.
we have a Kimberly Freeberg.
Okay, I have a question first. How many do we have?
16 total.
6,
Uh,
11,
12,
12?
and then 4 on the next.
Okay, 12 on this item. I need to limit it to 3 minutes, please. This is an agenda item, and I choose to limit it to 3 minutes. If we have some repetitions, please make it short on a paragraph if you'd like. First person.
Kimberly Freeberg.
Kimberly Freeberg, you're on, Kimberly.
Thank you. President Nava, members of the board, and Superintendent Washer. I can cut my speech way down. Thank you very much for that announcement of the direction to the district about our teaching locations. I still have a question though, based on that information, if we will be required to have a substitute then, being that we were expecting to have substitutes in the classroom and access to our distance learning, that there'll be some direction with that as well. Being that we had low subs numbers beforehand, it could cause a problem now. That's all I have to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kimberly. Next.
Brandy De Alba.
Randy, you're on.
Hi, thank you. I am supporting the board's decision to instate distance learning through the first quarter and hope the board will rely on scientific medical data when deciding whether or not to return in-person learning. So I will do my best to support my students' education at home. I know that my children get the best education possible with in-person instruction from Lodi Unified School District, for I am a mother of 5 students in this district. I believe I heard Mr. Nava state that the teachers will now have a choice to work remotely. If this is true, I want to thank you for that because I could not understand the basis of having teachers physically on campus during the school day. The only reason I can think of it is an attempt at accountability. I have some points for you to consider when doing this. Our very own LUSD teachers have already been busy planning. A teacher started a Facebook page for Lodi teachers to collaborate. This just started this week and already over 300 teachers are sharing ideas and collaborating on how to best serve students. They are doing this on their own time because they are professionals. They care. I'm not sure why we would need to change the instructional calendar. It appears our teachers are already hard at work. Did you ask the teachers for their input before moving the calendar? Also, Seesaw and Google Classroom are the learning platforms the district has chosen. On both of these platforms, admin can all be added to these accounts. For accountability, admin can review the quality of posted work, video tutorials, and assignments completed. During live instruction, admin can join classes to support teachers and encourage students to do their best. After all, I'm sure it is a goal for admin to be in classes as much as possible during the regular school year, and this can be continued during the distance learning. What better way to support our teachers and students? This is accountability. It is available on their distance learning platform. By mandating teachers to be on campus, they must, just like the rest of us, search for daycare or family for their own children. Why is this necessary? Have you looked to see what options there are out there right now for daycare? I have. Daycare facilities are being inundated with requests. As a district, you could alleviate this problem by allowing teachers to work from home and therefore keep their kids at home. I'm sure this is no picnic for our teachers, but it does help support the rest of the community and limit additional possible transmission of COVID-19. In closing, our teachers are professionals as such. They should have the choice to work from school or home. Many professionals during COVID-19 are doing just that. Why should we not offer the same courtesy to our teachers? I encourage this board to consider not mandating teachers to report on campus to do a job we already know they're doing passionately. Let's agree to treat teachers as professionals. Thank you.
Thank you, Brett. Thank you, Brandy. Next,
Next, we have Michelle Orgon.
Cheryl, you're on.
Thank you. Good evening, President Nava, members of the board, Dr. Washer. Leah wants to thank the district for cooperatively working with us and reaching this tentative agreement that puts safety and health of our students, members, and our community first. This has always been our concern from the very beginning. Through our collaborative approach, we have finally come to this MOU that respects educators' schedules and the risk of COVID. We thank you for your announcement tonight for acknowledging the additional risk for teachers working on a school site that are at higher risk. We thank you for giving them the opportunity to work from home if that is better for their health and their family. With regards to the calendar, we understand that the district wanted to change the calendar, and we want to assure the public that teachers are ready. We don't know the reason behind the need for the calendar change, but respect that the district is compensating the teachers for their time and giving them the professional time for additional preparation. I also want to give a much thanks for the opportunity for those needing to retire or wanting to retire due to COVID. This is a sign of respect for many of our dedicated teachers that have served the district for many years. We want to thank you for giving them that opportunity. We look forward to working collaboratively on the update and thank Dr. Washer for recognizing additional social protocols and putting those things into place. We hope that the message goes out. We want everybody safe. We want to reduce the transmission of COVID throughout San Joaquin County. And we look forward to giving our students the best education through distance learning that we can. We look forward to the time that we are sitting face-to-face in the same room in a board meeting, but more importantly, sitting face-to-face in a classroom with our children, our students, and their smiling faces. hopefully uncovered without masks. So thank you for that announcement and your time in working on this MOU.
Thank you, Michelle. Next,
Next, we have Elizabeth Eng.
Elizabeth Eng is on.
Hello, hopefully you can hear me. I
Yeah.
had wanted to speak to the board tonight in regards to the location that we were going to be required to teach from. For me personally, I have 2 underage children. One of them is high risk. I have a son who's entering college who is also high risk. One of my children is on a 504. I'm high risk. So the actions that you're taking tonight impact my family greatly. And all I can say is thank you for making that option available. It was very heartbreaking to me to try to figure out how I was going to start the school year, or if I was going to need to potentially look for some safe situation for my children. I love my job. I love my students. I also love my own children. And so not having to put them at risk is a big thing for me. The increase on staff exposure was a severe concern to me. Having just received yesterday word that one of my sister's coworkers at a school in Stockton just passed away from what they believe was COVID. He was the school librarian. He was active in the community and took care of children on his off time, making sure that kids in the neighborhood had something positive to do with their life outside of school. So that is a loss to the whole community. And it just really drove home to me the fact that we really can't afford to lose even one of those people in our community. We can't afford to lose a single teacher who impacts these students every day in and out of school. So thank you for that decision. Also, the internet access has been an issue over the years for us on school sites. And I know my internet access at home, I never once had a failure doing distance learning from home. But on site, I had failures multiple times. And I think that was pretty evident this morning based on the whole push out on the internet issues on our campuses for the Chromebooks and Chromeboxes. And I think that this decision will impact student learning positively, and it also shows respect for the employees. And I thank you so much for that.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Next,
Next, we have a Diane Osterly.
repeat.
Diane Osterly.
Okay, Diane, you're on. Diane, you're on.
Sorry, I had to allow my computer. Good evening, Dr. Washer, President Nava, and members of the board. As a teacher and parent of children in this district, I just wanted to still take this opportunity to say thank you for your decision tonight. It is very much appreciated, and you've relieved a lot of stress on parents who are also teachers in this district. Thank you.
Thank you, Diane. Next,
Next, we have Tara Spagnola.
Spagnola. What's the first name?
Tara.
You're on. Having a problem?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, you can.
Dr. Washer and board members, these are difficult times and the district must make tough decisions to minimize the spread of the virus and protect their staff. With the state mandate to implement distance instruction, teachers, the district, and parents know students will be at a disadvantage during this time. All of us want to maximize student success during this time. To achieve these goals, the district is requiring all teachers to work on campus during contract hours. Additionally, the district is not permitting teachers to bring their children on campus during contract hours. These guidelines are meant, among other things, to discourage groups of children congregating together. The district is assuming younger students will be staying home while parents are on campus executing distance learning and instruction. Many teachers come from dual income homes or are single parents. Many younger children of teachers will be placed in daycare, resulting in the children congregating with other children. When returning home, families will reunite, thus expanding the exposure of germs among the family and the teacher. Some teachers are at high risk due to age and/or pre-existing conditions, faced with the requirement of reporting on campus, increasing their exposure to other staff. Some staff members may be forced to take a leave of absence for their safety and/or childcare issues. The district students will then be placed with unqualified substitute teachers, often with a new teacher every 30 days. If a special education teacher is forced to take a leave of absence, the district may struggle to source a qualified special education substitute. In these situations, these students will be placed at an even further disadvantage. By allowing teachers to either work from home or bring their children on campus during contract hours, children and teachers will be exposed to fewer individuals and germs. This solution is better for the district, the teachers, their children, and most importantly, the students. Thank you for allowing us the choice.
Thank you, Ms. Spagnola. Next,
Next, we have Maria. There's no last name.
I need a last name. Maria, what's your last name?
Maria Smith.
Maria Smith, you're on. You're on, Ms. Smith. What's the problem?
Maria Aguilera.
Oh, thank you. That sounds better. Maria Aguilar. Maria Aguilar, you're on, please. Next one,
Nicole Shampoo.
Nicole Champagne, you're on. Nicole? Next,
Elizabeth Wright.
Elizabeth Wright, you're on, Elizabeth.
Good evening, Dr. Washer, President Nava, members of the board. I'm a board-chair teacher, parent of 2 Lodi Unified School District students, and secretary of the Vinewood Parent Club. All this to say, I'm highly invested in our district. I've spent much of my summer working with Mr. Solly and Mr. McGregor on plans and material to benefit our Lodi Unified Elementary students. I spent countless hours outside my usual contract time at home in the 4th quarter, connecting with my students, meeting them and their families where they were, and providing an engaging learning atmosphere. I invite you to join my Google Classroom to see everything we did, including a digital science camp. I'm not the only Lodi Unified School District teacher who's done all of this. I've spent countless hours collaborating with colleagues who can tell the same story. The reason I bring all of this up is to bring awareness to the fact that we as LUSD teachers can and have successfully worked remotely. Unfortunately, I believe it has taken just a few of our 1,500 members to reflect negatively on all of us. I want to thank you for your statement tonight, encouraging the district to be flexible and work with the teachers regarding on-site and telework. I'll leave you with this, something I heard just this morning from child psychologist, Dr. Jody Carrington. A quote from Chris Imden, a professor at Columbia University. An educator who feels unsafe, uncared for, and devalued cannot give their full selves to their work. Basic human needs extend to those who teach as much as they do to those who are to be taught. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Next.
Bonnie Wang.
Repeat that again.
Bon Mi Vang.
Ming. All right, you're on.
Marlena Garcia.
Marlena Garcia. Marlena, you're on. Next.
Nicole Shampoo. I don't know.
Nicole, you're on. Next.
That is it for this section.
That is it for this section. Thank you very much for the all parents and teachers that make these comments. We will, we have a motion on the floor. The motion is made by Mr. Freitas, second by Mr. Porter, that we approve the memorandum. And I need a vote, roll call vote. Mr. Knacksack,
Yes.
Mr. Freitas, Mr. Heberly, Mr. Neely,
Aye.
Mr. Porter,
Aye.
Ms. McFarland,
Aye.
Mr. Nava, aye. Motion carries 7-0. Okay. Continue on with the agenda. A revised instructional calendar for 2020, 2021. Mr. McKillican. Yeah. Any comments from the board? Any questions from the board? Any comments from the audience? How many? 4. Okay, let's go. We're ready.
We have a Rita Bramer.
Rita? You're on.
Hi, thank you. Good evening, Mr. Nava, Dr. Washer, and members of the board. I appreciate you taking the time to hear out the community. I just want to give a little bit of a personal aspect as a parent to 2 students as part of Lodi Unified School District. The sacrifices that we as parents have been making is just immeasurable. I have personally had to give notice at my work due to having a husband that works full time, and he is our primary breadwinner in our family. And he can't give that up, obviously, to continue our life. So I've had to make that sacrifice of giving up the best job I've ever had. And through the calendar, you know, originally I was under the impression given by the district that the calendar was actually going to be delayed and the start date was going to be August 24th. So I let my employer know that. Then it was actually confirmed by you guys that it was going to continue being the original date of August 3rd. So I had to relay that to my employer, which was devastating because it shortened up the amount of time that they had to replace me. And now my fear is that I'm getting dragged through the mud again, and I'm going to have to, I don't know, there's just more changes, and it's not right. We need some kind of consistency. We've rearranged our lives, and we've spent an astronomical amount of money. We've lost money. We as parents, we need control of our lives, even if it's just a little piece of control left. And we've obviously lost a lot of control. Even you guys, I want you to know that we have complete understanding that you guys spend a whole year planning for the next year, and that got destroyed. But us as parents, we need to get some control back. And even if it's just a stable date, it can make all the world of a difference for us as parents, who feel like puppets right now. And every time we turn around, it's just like, how can this be happening again? How, just one thing stable. I do want to give some attention to the teachers. I don't know if I'm part of the majority or not, but the last quarter of school, it was a good experience for us. Our teachers, between two children, I've got a junior higher and an elementary school teacher, or elementary school student. And so 7 teachers total, and they all did a wonderful job. I have a lot of faith in our teachers. They are extremely capable teachers, and I believe that they will be ready and prepared for all of our students on August 3rd, just as planned. And I believe that's the way it should stay. I thank you guys for your time tonight. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Rita. Next,
Next, we have Deborah Lodwig.
Deborah, you're on.
Good evening, President Nava, members of the board, and Superintendent Washer. I want to thank you for letting me speak tonight. As you may or may not know, I always sign up on items that I think might, I maybe would like to speak to, but I don't really know because I never know how the discussion's going to go. So I just wanted to make mention of your comment earlier about working with teachers and their ability to work remotely. I appreciate that you are taking the health and safety of the employees seriously. And I will believe that you did not include classified employees in that, because most of the items tonight on your agenda do center on the teachers of the district. We will be going into negotiation on Friday, and I hope that we will have an opportunity to speak to the instructional calendar that has already been presented and approved by the teachers, since it's a mandatory subject of bargaining for us as well. So thank you very much, and have a great evening.
Thank you, Deborah. Next,
Next, we have Sarah Azevedo.
Sarah Azevedo. Sarah, you're on.
Michelle Orgon.
Michelle, you're on.
Thank you. Just a couple of questions. I see our our main student instructional calendar here. I've had a couple of members ask about the other calendars and their approval coming forward for our Joe Cerna School and Valley Robotics and Middle College. And having that available and approved, everyone would like to have all the calendars come forward. So just a little technical thing. I'm not sure how much it is different, but we don't have, we have not seen those. So just a side note on calendars coming forward so that all parents know all schedules. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Next.
That is all.
That's all the comment. The revised instructional calendar for 2020, 2021. I need a motion.
Mr. Nava, Mr. Neely, move to approve.
Okay, you got me, George. I could put you a second. How's that?
Works for me.
Mr. Porter, motion, Mr. Neely, second. Did we approve the revised instructional calendar for 2020, 21? Roll call vote, Mr. Knacksack,
Aye.
Porter,
Aye.
Ms. McFarland,
Aye.
Mr. Freitas, Mr. Heberly, Mr. Neely,
Aye.
Mr. Nava, aye. Board passes revised calendar by 7-0. Next on the agenda is credential waivers application and approval. Mr. McKelligan. Okay, any board comments? Any comments from the public?
No comments.
Mr. Nava,
Mr. Neely,
move to approve.
move to approve
Second.
by Ms. McFarland to approve the credential waiver application and approval. Roll call vote, Mr. Porter. Mr. Freitas. Ms. McFarland,
Aye.
Mr. Knacksack,
Aye.
Mr. Heberly, Mr. Neely,
Aye.
Mr. Nava, aye. Motion approved. That concludes our agenda.
Mr.
Board
Nava,
members, thank you. Yes, Mr. Neely.
move to adjourn.
Move to
Second.
adjourn, Mr. Neely.
Second.
Second by Mr. Knacksack. Roll call vote, Mr. Freitas. Roll call vote on adjournment. Mr. Freitas. Ms. McFarland.
Here.
Mr. Porter.
Aye.
Mr. Knacksack.
Aye.
Mr. Everly. Mr. Neely.
Aye.
And Mr. Nava. Aye. Motion adjourned, 7-0. Thank you for
Ready.
attending, everybody. You guys can wave off. See you on August, what's the date?
I don't know.
Okay, sir? Good night, everybody.
Mary?